All right. I've been introducing. I don't want to hear my voice at the beginning of another episode in a row, please. Someone else get this off.
All right. Hello and all right. Hold on.
It's okay. That's warm up run.
Okay.
Just practice.
I got this.
Try it again. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Crucible Radio.
Right,
are we? What's the topic this week? Try put the topic in the intro. What are we doing,
guys? We are doing a live podcast next week. One take, guys. It's got to be perfect. Just power through, okay? Bones.
All right, Bones, you do it. You got
this.
Ready?
Dollar Shave Club is the
no, not this week. Not this week. Andrew, don't leave this in. Leave this in. We're doing a live episode, and we are going to do it until we can get one clean shot. One take, heroes. All right. Welcome everyone to Crucible Radio, the all things for two debt.
What?
Ah!
What? That's the one you mess up. That's the one we nail every time. That we never edit that one.
Okay, from this point on, this is one take.
What?
From this point on, this is one take, no editing practice for our live podcast from GCC next week. So special thanks to Andrew. It's time to beat drop.
Do the song with this
Andrew.
Part.
Bop the
Andrew,
sneeze.
music time now.
It goes do do
snip
do.
snap, Andrew. Snip snip.
Do the
snip snap.
Make us stop talking.
Are we gonna do the well thing for the live show?
No, I'm getting all my wells out right now.
I mean, we have an hour to fill. I feel like 30 seconds of wells is going to go a long way.
Oh yeah, it'll happen.
We're gonna need it.
Live audience on the edge of their seats.
Just like start real low. Well.
Yeah, eventually at Guardian Con, Swain is eventually screaming into the microphone as he gets louder and louder.
Guys, this is why it's so important to do a sound check, because you never know how many times you're going to have to scream well and how loud you're going to have to scream it.
You got to go from one end of the spectrum to the other to test your levels. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to go well. Good. But it's just going to run by the mic.
Screaming across stage.
What is it that we're talking about here? Does somebody want to tell people who are wondering why they're listening to this?
Oh, of course. Why you're listening to this, I don't know, but you're listening to Crucible Radio 2, the podcast for all things Destiny 2 PvP. And what we're doing right now is really enjoying the fact that we have the ability to edit and trim and make us sound better.
Yeah.
Because
punch it up. You got to punch it up.
You got to punch it up because next week.
Also taking advantage of like not wearing clothes while doing this.
Right.
Because
obviously
it's hot.
I'm wearing a sweater on the top half, completely nude on the bottom half. I really should have put a towel down on the chair.
Yeah, on your work seat? Really? On the office chair? Okay. And we're getting off topic again. This is a podcast about Destiny, and for 105 episodes, we've carefully edited the show. We fix little bits here and there. We take breaks to really discuss what we're going to say.
We use like a full hour beforehand to get ready and talk about what we're going to do. And then we do none of it during the podcast.
Yeah, instead we just get weird noises out of our system, and yet they still manage to make it into the show.
All of that changes next week because we will be at Guardian Con in Tampa for Guardian Con 2017, where Crucible Radio will be doing a live episode. In fact, we're the first episode in the podcast theater out of the 2 days, and we'll be doing our show, but in a different way. We get to put a little spin on it because we've never done a live episode. We've never broadcasted an episode on Twitch or anything like that.
We've done like
many of the other shows,
recordings, but there's
well,
always
in a sense,
sound
all
terrible.
recordings are live until you edit them down to sound good.
Yeah, we've done recordings where we were all in the same place. That has happened. But yeah, we're going to be on stage and we're going to be talking to each other, holding microphones, being able to look eye to eye and see each other as it happens with no delay, no counting. Lots of visual bits for the people at home. And we are very excited. But Guardian Con is a few days away and we can't wait to be there. We can't wait to kick off the show in the podcast theater. And we are going to bring a few changes to the live episode because it's a special occasion. Yeah. We'll be talking to a special guest. I will be throwing Crucible Radio pins into the audience.
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, I know. I'll be sure to seal them. But Miss Bones made some buttons, very cool Crucible Radio buttons and pins and Destiny stuff. We've got stickers and I don't know, maybe something else we'll give away. No promises. But it's going to be a fun show. So if you're there, hope you catch it. Say hi to us. We'll be hanging out for the other 2 days of it.
We also have a meet and greet on Saturday. So if you're around on Saturday, you come see us. But feel free to stop us when we're walking around. Say hello.
We'll be there.
Tell us what your opinion on hot dogs is.
Or keep it to yourselves.
I want to hear it. Also, tell Birds he's crazy about the enchilada thing.
You can also come visit me at my free enchilada bar where I'm going to be changing minds left and right.
There's no enchiladas there? You're just going to argue to people about why they're better?
Birds is just going to be throwing enchiladas into the audience.
It's an enchilada discussion bar, and it is unlimited.
He paid a lot of money for a booth to make enchiladas.
Like right next to Control Freaks and Scuff is Birds talking about enchiladas.
Enchilada thoughts.
Anywho, if you're there next week, when this releases this week, say hello. We'd love to meet you.
But this week we've got strategy to talk. We're trying to improve. We're still on our grind here. No time to waste.
First, we want to talk about the TWAB.
Yeah, the TWAB had some stuff. It was pretty good. It got me a little more excited for September 6th, even though I think that's the wrong day to release the game. But we finally figured out what veteran options we're going to have, or not options, but rewards. And they come in the form of some pretty cool emblems. And first thing I noticed that got me so freaking excited, more so than like, oh, moments of triumph or whatever, you completed this, was the fact that emblems change the top banner on the UI when you're in your inventory. Mm-hmm. It goes across the entire top, so you get the entire theme of that. It's like updating your Google Chrome theme or something like that, where the bar is, and it looks so good. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, a little improvement to the UI.
Yeah, this is nice. There's everyone's kind of wondering how they're going to connect the dots from D1 to D2, and you connect too many dots, and I can already feel this metaphor starting to fail me. I want to abandon it. I want to back out, but you tie it too tightly and you just get the same game again. You do it completely separate. You don't have that continuity. And here they're going to be recognizing players, the people who played and the things they achieved. And, elements of your Guardian or your loadout will change. But I think there's some cool stuff here. You can't fake it. If you've accomplished these achievements, you got to take something with you, something you got to show off.
I'm particular to the young wolf emblem. I think that looks very clean, and also I just like the young wolf stuff, even in the expansions from Destiny. It's a pretty sharp look. But we also got a few pieces of news about when a few traditions, time honored in Destiny 1, will be coming to a close, and we knew it was going to happen. But Iron Banner and Trials will be reaching their end sooner than September, a little bit closer to the end date. So Trials is still there for every weekend, all the way up until August 11th. That is when the final Destiny 1 era Trials of Osiris will take place. I'm very interested to see what map they choose, if we're going to be possibly returning to the shrine or we're doing some sort of rotation.
I feel like it would be fitting to end Trials with 6 weeks of Burning Shrine.
Just Shrine for the rest of the year.
It leaves this world as it came into it.
Just the last week, every map. is on a rotation.
I'd be down. That'd be cool. New map every time, big rotation. That'd be nice. And then
Mastery
before that,
series.
On August 1st, the final Destiny 1 era Iron Banner. Let's guess Control for that, as we always did have for the first couple years.
Mm-hmm. Go out the same way we came in.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for Trials most of all for that final weekend. Not that I don't still play Trials here and there, but just I know it'll bring everyone back for that last bit of fun, and people are going to be booting up Destiny who have maybe taken a break or aren't playing during the week or something like that, or grinding Overwatch, and it's going to be populated and it's going to be a little more active and stuff like that. So I definitely want to be able to take a screenshot from the Lighthouse that last final weekend.
Yep. It'll be missed. We're going to be going into D2 a couple of weeks of nothing leading up to it as far as Trials goes, as far as Crucible, except for regular Crucible. And then once we get into D2, we'll be so busy we won't have a ton of time for stuff like Trials. So hopefully when they do drop whatever they're planning, it'll be just as exciting for every week as Trials has been for the past 2 years. Geez, looking forward to the map each week, talking about strategies, talking about why spawns should flip, and getting angry on Twitter.
Never.
It's been a fun time, and it's been thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm glad that Trials is ending in August, and that we've got this final weekend on the 11th. Because that gives me enough time to take this break I'm planning before Destiny 2 comes out. And it makes sense, blah, 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 game's dead. But I have an actual reason for it, and we're going to talk about that in a later segment about why a break will be really, really good before Destiny 2. But you don't want to take a break right now, because we have good stuff to talk about, like how we can improve on a few basics, because we're doing our new segment.
Back to basics. We need like a drop here. Back to basics.
Yeah, we need a sample. That's what we need for the rest of these. We need some sort of like back to basics.
Yeah, you want to see some real live, non-live podcast magic. Andrew, drop the back to basics sample. Perfect. I assume you will do at some point in the future.
Wow. Look, it's funny. We can just talk and like they won't even hear what we're saying. Like none of this, we could say the dumbest things right now and Andrew just cuts it out. We can just be like,
but Andrew, leave that in.
Fart, blah, 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 blah,
leave all that in.
We basically did that last week, guys.
Yep. No one will know that I did that ever. And I can die knowing that no one will have ever heard me made those stupid sounds.
Kind of a strange energy this week, guys. Okay.
Gotta get it out of our system.
We're getting it. Well, we failed to get it out of our systems earlier. Maybe it's out by now. But let's dive in. Let's get a little hands-on with this. When we first started doing this back to basics, we made a big list of all of the different things we want to talk about, because there are very specific gaming skills. There are specific shooter skills. There's specific game mode and map skills and stuff in Destiny we wanted to talk about. And with an announcement that we eulogized last week, we realized that something jumped up to the top of the list. We need to talk about Rumble while it's still around to play. Mm-hmm. And not just because I love Rumble, but because Rumble is really important. Rumble is unique in the game modes, and you can tell because unlike other game modes, it can get your heart pumping in all sorts of ways, and there's a reason for that. So let's talk about Rumble. How do you win at Rumble?
I kind of want to preface this by saying, if you're listening to this on Monday, go play Destiny, because Rumble is still up for one day, and it will probably come back, hopefully more than once before D2.
I think we'll get a couple good rotations.
Yeah, I mean, we might not get the classic straight up Rumble. We'll probably get some Supremacy, maybe Mayhem.
Little Inferno.
Yeah, so be prepared. It's going to come around again, and get your practicing in. Get those Grimoire wins in, because you got
100 wins.
Hit 100 to get the max Grimoire for there. So
the thing about getting 100 Rumble wins is that, you get some Grimoire for it, but you get to tell the world that you got 100 wins in Rumble. that's not nothing. That's something to be proud of. Because, you can't fake it in Rumble. You're on your own, man.
Well, and for a majority of players, I think I can confidently say that a majority of players are going into Control and Clash most of the time just to get those multi-kills and things like that. And the team setting is a very natural fit. You don't feel like you're completely out of water in there. So you could probably have hundreds of Control wins at this point, but getting to a solid number of Rumble wins is something that even for me, a guy who I've gone flawless more times than I've won a game of Rumble. I think I can say that. That's true. But to me, it's the Rumble thing that feels like it was such a great accomplishment, because that game is truly just you against everything, but it requires such a focus on everything that's happening and reaction times that I don't really have to worry about if I know I have a teammate to my left or right. And that sort of thing that like Bird said, it gets your heart rate going because you are just head on a swivel back and forth. So what are the steps that we take to actually have any sort of awareness when there's no front line and it's all just a free for all?
Yeah. My favorite thing about Rumble is the fact that because you are on your own, it leaves little room for excuses on behalf of your teammates.
No Junkrat Banes on your team.
You can't just be like, hey, that guy, don't move. Don't rush B. Why are we all piling on B? Keep dying.
You bumped me when I was sniping.
Yeah,
nah.
It's up to you to win that game. And if you mess something up, you have to look inwards. And that kind of goes well for every aspect of the game. You want to look at your gameplay and your abilities and your gunshots, and judge those. And Rumble puts that perfectly in a little box and says, hey, quit messing up. You suck.
Here's the thing about Rumble is that you can be a great basic all-around player. You can be star of every Clash match, win every game of Control, and take that into Rumble and just lose over and over and over again. It's not because you're bad. It's not because you're not getting kills, but because in order to succeed in Rumble, similar to succeeding in elimination, you have to take all of that game skill and layer on another level of strategy and prioritization. And I think if we're going to talk about Rumble, if we're going to get into it, and Bones, you said a magic word, there's no front line. Mm-hmm. When we talk about Rumble, we need to first talk about spawns. Spawns are everything in Rumble. If you know where the spawns are, if you know the timing of them, you know when they're likely to trigger, and you can base your tactical decision making around that, you win. And if you win your gunfights, and if you do everything else right, but you aren't paying attention to spawns, you're probably not going to win. You're probably going to get beat out by maybe even a player who's not as good, but who knows that system better. So
spawns translate to other game modes as well. And
absolutely.
Probably obviously to Destiny 2, because you want to get a feel if you're working in 3s, even probably in 4s, as you kill a team or do a team wipe, you're going to know exactly where they're coming from. Or if you split up a team, you can say, hey, I know that the spawn is over there and we have them split spawned. These guys are over here and these other guys are spawning over here. Let's pick one and attack. So it goes for almost every other game mode. Knowing your spawns will help you.
So let's get technical. So on most maps in Destiny, I want to say there's about 6 different spawns. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the map. But generally, there's about 6 different spawns. And the way the spawn system works, and this is a huge oversimplification, is if you die and the game has to decide where you're going to respawn, it's going to try and put you in a place that doesn't have anyone standing right on top of it. It's going to try. Yeah. And it's also going to try and put people in different spawns. So if it just spawns somebody in one location, the next person to spawn is going to another location. And this can be tough because it's not like playing Trials where you know they're exactly where they're coming from each time. You can generally get a good sense of where someone is likely to spawn. And then as soon as you kill them, you have to move on. You can't stay there because that spawn location is probably not going to pop. Some other spawn is going to pop. Someone else is going to have that fight, get that kill. And even if you're winning your fights, you're still going to lose because Rumble is a race to 25 kills or 23, 24, whatever. So you have to find somebody, you have to shoot them. And then the moment you kill them, you've basically got one of two strategies. You can either turn around and run to the spawn behind you, kill them, and then repeat. And this is back and forth, back and forth. You can literally stay in one spot on the whole map, but just go from side to side. And a really good example of this is on Shores of Time. If you are in those caves, the A caves, the flag caves, you're inside there. You've got one spawn going through either door. So if you turn and you look to beach, there's going to be someone spawning right there next to that exploding crate. If you kill them and then immediately turn around and run back through the caves to the other side, you're going to get someone on the I forgot
like special ammo.
Yeah, for this on the special crate for the water caves, headed over to sea. Maybe someone spawning from mid. You can do the same thing on the other side of the map. If you spawn on the seaside, you can basically just stay on that platform. You're going to get someone coming from the jungle spawn and then on platform through to B and back and forth and back and forth.
A lot of times you're most of the fights that you're going to find in Rumble is fights over the anchor spots. So that would be a definite anchor spot, definitely an anchor spawn because you can spawn in there. So if you spawn there, you want to find the best way to get back and forth, move back and forth. A good piece of advice here would be like, if there's not a fight there, don't go looking for a fight there. The fight will end up coming your way. Someone will die and someone will get spawned in that position. But you going back and forth, finding it, you want to make sure that no one's spawning in your spawn, in that anchor spot. And a lot of times, what you will do is you get a kill and you rush back to where you spawned, that anchor point, to prevent that. Because if your body's there, it's, the algorithms, whatever, Destiny behind the scenes, it's going to say, hey, someone's there. I'm not going to spawn someone where there's someone literally right in their face. It's going to put them, either to your left or to your right, or maybe even across the map. But a key point of the anchor spawn is to, once you get a kill, go back to your anchor and prevent.
Yeah, and it's really important to just learn those spots on each map. And sometimes they're not super clear and it's very tricky. Sometimes it's fairly obvious. I think one of the obvious ones for me is Cauldron. And I'll just notice that, and you can just sort of feel it when you're there. It's not necessarily like something you sought out. It's that, oh, I'm up on that top part outside on Cauldron where the heavy spawns. I got people on outside
Perfect
C.
spot.
I got people over by the stairs on the other side, and I can see them spawn. You can actually watch them appear. And if you have a sniper, you can be
point on Cauldron.
you can be real mean, and you can spawn snipe them on Cauldron. But then, if you don't see two people on the outside on either side, you just poke in, open that door, and the two doors coming in from either green room or red room feed right into you. And suddenly you realize, wow, I haven't really moved much, but I've had 4 encounters in the last minute that have all been right next to each other. I just sort of got one kill, decided to check my flank, turned around, saw them there, quickly turned around and had another guy coming from my right. And it's not me sprinting across the map to go figure out where to go. And when you feel that happening, like Bird said on Shores of Time, where you're just sort of making small movements through that cave, then you realize like, oh, this is the spot to be because this is where the action starts to flow to. It's like everything's downhill towards that. And that's where they come. And if you can control that and you can keep your head on a swivel and be aware of those spawns, you will find yourself actually pulling away as opposed to just gruesomely battling it out to stay 100 points over the guy in second place.
Yeah, Fizzer always preached, finding the control point on the map and keeping it and, commanding, people coming to you. Like, hey, I know this guy's going to come from this way. My good spot on the map is going to be advantageous to killing that person and keep going. And that's why some people find, even if you go back to, when people were scrimming, they would skip like certain maps because spawns on certain maps were just, hard. I would say is Blind Watch. Blind Watch is like the really hard one. Once you had out, the top control, it was really hard to get behind them or find a way to move the spawns around because they were so far from each other. So you would spawn really far after you died. Yeah, tough maps like that would get skipped for that reason.
So I think we've covered two of the reasons. And if this sounds complicated, it's not. Like literally find a good spot and go back and forth. Just kill someone. And as soon as you kill someone, turn around, run the other direction. You'll get a feel for it. So I think there's two reasons we've covered why this works. The first is you're going to be staying in the action. You're going to be getting close to people who are spawning. So you're spending the least amount of time possible not in fights, not getting points. The second reason, the fizzer point, is that when you can control one of these good spots, you've got the high ground, you've got a head glitch, you've got cover, you've got a statistical advantage that'll make it more likely for you to win your fight. There's a third reason why this approach really works in Rumble, and that's because if we've got a map, there's 6 spawn points all spread around it. I'm in the middle of 2, and I'm just going back and forth between those 2. The moment I kill someone and I turn around, I know the odds are good there's not someone behind me. And that when I go running the other direction, I'm only going to run into one person. I'm not running into unknown territory. I'm making sure that, there might be 6 people on the map right now, but I'm only ever going to be in a one-on-one situation. Because as soon as you get into a one-on-one or another on-one in there, it's chaos. You might get inadvertently team shot by some people who are not on the same team. You're really reducing down the chaos of 6 people all fighting each other to you just fighting one person at a time, going back and forth. There are some people who like to rotate around the whole map. It can work, but for me, the real success has come from taking this chaotic thing and as much as possible, reducing it down to basically 2 gunfights you alternate between that you try and win over and over and over.
So that's the ideal setup. If you get the right spot, everything comes to you, minimal movement, maximum amount of fights. But in reality, Rumble games do not often go that way, at least for me. Sometimes they're just perfect and I don't move an inch. But to stay in those, strong map control areas, it requires either an extremely handy primary. You got to be 3-tapping everyone with your IS Luna, or it does require a bit of evasiveness, and certainly all of that still ties into awareness, knowing when to turn around and when to expect someone behind you. So I think for me, a really important Rumble skill that I learned, and it becomes a habit that I think is a good habit in all games, but you really don't have to worry about it as much. I found myself being incredibly aggressively evasive, if that is not an oxymoron, and learning to reload and recoup while moving backwards, and constantly moving and keeping stuff in front of me, because the second I got a kill in Rumble, I am often expecting someone to come clean me up from behind. So I want to be ready for them, but I gotta still create the negative space. So if you can develop those habits of like, okay, turn around, I just got someone in front of me. Great, good kill. But someone's already behind me. I can see the radar. They're about to come around the corner. I don't want to just stand my ground because that guy got 2 shots off on me before I killed him. So I want to be ready to reload in the air while jumping backwards, immediately creating cover, knowing where I am as soon as I get that kill, probably adding a slide or a roll or something like that as soon as I finish the guy in front of me. And just being constantly ready for someone to come get you, almost paranoid. And if you can play Rumble paranoid, and like me, like that's when I win. If I try to just do my usual, like, great, good kill. Now let's reload. We can walk while we do this. Let's keep moving forward onto the next. That's when I die. When I'm not thinking immediately, oh boy, someone else behind me.
Yep. I think a big part of winning in Rumble is, I don't want to say not chasing, but knowing when to chase. Because if you chase someone down, let's say you get 2 shots off on them, you want to clean them up, but they are safely behind cover, you're going to have to sprint a bit and round a corner. You could chase them, and if you think you've got it, or you want to clean them up with a grenade, then go for it. But if they are sprinting, you can follow them into unknown territory. And die in the process because you don't know what you're running into. You might run into a person who's going to clean up your kill and then clean you up in the process.
I was going to say, you're going to give points to someone else if you chase that person or put enough damage on them and let that other person finish your kill and also get you in the meantime.
Yep. I mean, sometimes it's better just to say, okay, I'll get the assist, because you're going from a situation where you have high information. You don't have to be total paranoid panic mode because you don't know if there's 3 people coming around the corner. You know that there's one in front of you and one behind you, and you don't have to worry about one anymore. And you could be walking into anything. And if you do, or let's say you spawn in a crazy spot and there's people all around you, your goal really needs to be to get back to that point of confidence, that high information, to know that I'm going to have a fight coming up in just a second here, but it's only one fight. It's only a 1v1.
Mm-hmm. So I think talking about Rumble is almost like a good way to do a back to basics on the basics of the basics, and literally talk about how we start fights, how we engage, when we decide to engage, and how we stay alive and string kills together, because it's not you can't apply constant pressure if you're in an even match. If there's someone equally as good as you, they will expose you if you don't have all of your cooldowns ready, if you're pushing in when you're hurt, all that sort of thing. So we can just talk about 1v1s, because honestly, those are as crucial as anything in Rumble, and they apply everywhere constantly to the rest of the game in any shooter.
That's it. Like, that's what makes Rumble important, which is that if you can win 100 Rumbles, what you've proven is that you can win your 1v1 gun battles reliably. And that is that's probably the most important basic skill, because you're going to be going up against even competition. You know that you're sort of playing cleanly, and that's why it's such good practice. I know that my performance in other game modes, doesn't translate 100%, but that specifically working on that skill of knowing how to be faced with a brand new one-on-one and saying, I'm probably going to come out on top here because of X, Y, and Z. That is the skill that Rumble teaches, and it is hugely applicable to other game modes. So how do you win a 1v1? You, somebody else, you both know where each other are. You're showing up on the radar. You're getting ready to fight. You want to win. And there's a lot of things we could talk about here. But what are some of those? How do you win a 1v1?
Well, I got the first step, and that's get the first shot off. And when I say first, I mean the most accurate initial contact. Your bullet is hitting, even if it's a split second before theirs, it's a crit shot, and it's first. And that is huge. And you can line those up by knowing where they are and having good pre-aim and having your reticle ready for when you see them. And it's funny, there's an actual perk on Destiny 2 hand cannons that offer initial accuracy on the first shot. So it's literally a perk that is saying, like, really nail that first shot, and then the rest of the fight gets easier. So one of the things that we've talked about on the show is reticle placement and pre-aiming. And that's, for example, someone is skating around a corner at you. You know they're there and they're coming at you hard, and maybe you don't have your grenade and you can't just throw something on the ground in front of them. You have to be ready and waiting. So your reticle is pointing on their head the second they appear. Or you might be pushing around a corner, but you can't just be pushing around a corner and say, hey, what's going on over here? Now I'll aim. You're coming around, moving to the left, strafing rather than moving forward or turning slowly with your camera. You're strafing around a corner so that you're already aimed at them. And those first initial steps are so critical, especially when the person you're trying to shoot has a really good aim too.
I think there's 2 parts to pre-aiming. There's the vertical component and the horizontal component. Vertical one is easy. Aim for their head. Most people, by default, let their cursor hang too low. When you push it up a little bit, you get ready for head level. And if you know maybe they're skating and they might be a bit higher than that, that is a move you don't have to make once you see them, once you're trying to get that first shot off. That's an easy one. Just aim up a little bit. You're pointing at their dick. It's funny. It would be super funny if you shot them there, but it's not going to win the fight. get the headshot. And then Bonesy, you kind of touched on this as well. There's the horizontal component, which is, hey, if I'm rounding a corner, I'm strafing and I'm getting just a little bit more view, a little bit more view, a little bit more view. When you do see somebody, they're going to be in that tiniest window. You're aiming almost directly at the corner itself, just a little bit off to the side. You're not pointed way off to the left, so you have to swing it over once they come into view. And this is actually something you can practice in every game mode by just cleanly rounding corners. Just as you go around corners, make sure that you're swinging your crosshair to compensate. So when somebody does come into view, you're already lined up with them. If you can do those two things, you're going to get the first shot off. So you're going to be at a huge advantage in terms of just the amount of damage that's done. They're going to get some flinch from being shot. And then there's the psychological component too of, maybe you get lucky, they've already taken some damage, you break their shield, they see that flash of red, they start to feel the panic. I would love to see someone like do a study that says, we took 25 top players and had them do 1v1s, and those who got that first shot off consistently won 80% of like something like that, because it's such a huge difference. And it comes from an action you take before you really see them for the first time.
Yeah.
Before you really see them for the first time.
You don't even see me anymore because I'm hiding behind a corner, pre-aiming.
So another thing to go into a 1v1 and think of is controlling your area. And you don't want someone coming in and attacking you from the side so that they can get your kill and finish up the one that you're going for. So that they get a kill on you and they finish up the one you're going after. So utilizing your grenades, whether it's aggressively to, throw a grenade into a corner, whether it's like an incendiary and get the person you're attacking down, or putting something like a spike grenade or a lightning grenade behind you, or cutting off a doorway so that someone can't come in and finish your kill or get a kill on you. That's a great way of controlling your area and controlling your anchor.
Let's talk about grenades. That's a good topic. I feel like we've done some gameplay reviews where I watch this review and people don't use their grenade. They'll be sitting on it and they won't throw it. The moment it starts cooling down, you're going to get another grenade. You want to throw as many grenades as possible. I think there are some situations where it makes sense to save your grenade to clean up. But in general, at least as far as I think, you should really be trying to start every fight with a grenade if you've got it, especially in Rumble. It's as important as getting that first shot off, and it's something that you can do without actually being able to see them. So even before you have a chance to take that first shot. So, and like you say, it's different based on the grenade. Maybe if you've got a spike or a lightning grenade, you want to put it behind them so they can't back up. Maybe you want to put it in front of them, someone who's charging and who's not going to be able to stop and, suppress them or incendiary them right at their feet. But you can do a huge, huge amount of damage and go from needing to hit, 2 perfect body shots and a headshot to, getting 1, getting 2 because you landed that grenade right. So, of course, you have to be able to throw them. The other part is just checking. Just check to see if you have a grenade. The moment it comes up, just look. And I know it's tough to do, but you see it right away when you watch your gameplay back. You just say, wow, I just held onto that grenade for 40 seconds and I didn't even know I had it at the time. It's a basic skill. And again, it's something you can practice anywhere. It's just thinking about it even when you're outside of combat, or maybe saying this person's coming around, I've got 2 seconds left on the grenade. I'm going to backpedal just a little bit so I can get that grenade up and win this fight instead of it just being a straight shootout.
One thing on 1v1s that I know I have not been very clear on with this show. I talk a lot about using cover, poking, falling back, completely cutting off the line of sight so that you can then surprise them. And there's so much that goes into that I feel like it almost makes it sound like it's a pretty long, elaborate process. But one thing that I find so important these days, especially in the current Destiny meta, is like really, really not wasting any time. And in Rumble, you cannot waste time in 1v1s when you're trying to hold a power spot on the map. You cannot slowly pick someone off and play the peek game, maybe hard scope a corner for a little while, because that person already spawned behind you and is coming to clean up because they want that spot. So in 1v1s, I think it's really crucial to start really getting into a habit of playing aggressively to an extent, to a smart extent. We talk about warrior as a play style. A warrior just moves forward. They really hold down on the left stick and they just go for it, and they go and they go and they go. And yeah, part of that is that they have incredible gun skill and they can win a fight even when they're weak. But part of that is realizing that they just don't wait. They're not waiting for that person who's kind of weak to peek out. They're jumping and leaping over the top to finish them with a melee. And it's really important to realize that in Rumble, like we said it at the beginning, it's a race to 23, 24, 25 kills. But it's also a race to just like get those kills before someone else finishes that guy off. So I think that's a great skill, and we're going to have to really see how that plays out in Destiny 2, but to realize like I need to finish. I cannot let that person with red bar health just run away or back up or think that because I'm kind of weak that I shouldn't play aggressively at this point. Charge forward, skate over that wall, warlock hop, whatever you need to do, hunter bound right over that and finish them with a melee. Get up there. Finish them off, hip fire, don't wait till you got to reload or they're too close. So now I got to back up before I take a shot. Just do what you can. And I think if you can really get that in your head of like, it's do or die every play to go finish that kill, because I don't want crossfire points. Screw those 25 points instead of 100 and someone else gets 100 for doing zero work. I mean, isn't that not the best feeling in Rumble where you walk into a room and shoot once and get the headshot for a kill and you're like, oh, cool, thanks. Don't let that happen. And if you can prevent your teammates from getting those points, those easy 100, 110, like that is where you succeed. That is where you lock those points in.
I know a bad habit that I have here. Thank you, Keen Koala, for putting the right words in my head. Don't reload in the middle of a 1v1. Mm-hmm. Shoot every bullet you have. If you run out of bullets and you're 3 feet away and you've got 1 round in Icebreaker, flip to Icebreaker and do the no scope. Close it down and melee it if you have to, but don't pause, because the moment you just say, all right, well, I've only got 4 rounds left. You might only need 1 of those bullets to win it. And you decide instead to crouch and reload. Well, they've just recovered. They've just repositioned. You're essentially starting from scratch at that point. Just make it happen. Yeah,
exactly. And that's exactly what I mean when I say that the cover game that I described can feel slow. It can sound like, oh, get cover, make a decision. All valuable things to know, but it's not get cover, reload your IS Luna, check how many rounds you have on Icebreaker. Oh, maybe 3 seconds I'll have a grenade. I'll just wait. It's get cover and then make a move quickly, break that line of sight and push out with that 2 rounds you have in your primary and finish with that melee. Making those aggressive plays and deciding I'll reload when I'm got the points, then you're good. And then you add in those skills about reloading backwards, continue to evade. It starts to string it together and you start to feel like, oh, this is what a kill streak really feels like. A kill streak is not, I happened to get a triple down by accidentally throwing a grenade in this room and cleaning up another 1v1, which could have gone to either one of them. That's not a kill streak.
And using your supers to the best extent for kill streaks.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's tough in Rumble.
Yeah, it's tough.
Super use in Rumble is definitely a weak point for me. Depends
on your super.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are going into Rumble with a Nova Bomb or, a Fist of Havoc. You would be better suited to do something like a Stormcaller or a Sunbreaker. That way you can kind of run around and, well, even Gunslinger too. You run around and chain your kills together the best you can. Because it is a race. You got to get those kills quick.
I would even say, like, my personal preference for Rumble is running Tier 5 Discipline, Tier 5 Strength, usually on Night Stalker, on a class where the super is not as high value. Something with really good neutral game, really good extracurriculars. I haven't said that in a while.
Yeah.
Because it can be when you're playing Clash, it's not tough to go off with a hammer and get, 3 kills. But if you're playing Rumble, right, you're generally only going up against one person at a time. And then you're kind of faced with that choice to say, all right, well, I got the first kill. I've still got some time left. Do I keep pushing to try and find somebody or to chase down a little bit on the far side of my radar? That's a trade-off you might not want to make because it's pushing you into the unknown. Yeah, you have your super, but you're not going to have it for long. In general, I would say don't hold on to them. See if you can get 2 supers in the round. And even if you just use it for 1 kill or just use it in a panic to prevent yourself from dying, just to hold on to a good position that you like.
Or to shut down another one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Or to respond to someone else. Exactly. Give up on the idea of saving it for the perfect, 3 kill that you might have it for, a full 12-minute match with 12 people.
Yeah, that's a really risky game because I would argue that Rumble is the only time I do want to hang on to a single-use super like Nova or Fist of Havoc. If I am running Gunslinger or Hammers, which I also use in Rumble, pop those quick. If you can be the first person to a super on the map, on the board, in something like Sweats, you just hit L1 and R2 and R1. You are the first super. They have no supers to counter. Push. Start to get that snowball effect, right? We talk about that in watching Sweats all the time. In Rumble, if you get that roaming first, yes, go for it. Great. But I might actually sit on a Fist of Havoc only because it can be so important to shut down that hammer lest he use it on me. Because if I get hammered, I love saying hammered. If I get killed by a Sunbreaker, I'm dead for 10 seconds, or I'm really out of the fight for more like 15, and then he's running around free, getting another super kill. So that's the one time I might sit on a super, but it's a real risky game to play because if you sit on your Fist of Havoc and you never use it against that early Sunbreaker, and suddenly you realize it's 500 points to go and you had the chance to get kills whenever you wanted because you're looking for that double down, use it to keep the streak alive and get it out of there. But super management will forever be my weak point in Destiny 1, so I'll just wait until there's nice clean indicators on the board on the screen and it says, hey dummy, there's a super in front of you, use yours. That's what I need.
Here's the thing for Rumble, this is not really advice because it's a thing we all know we should do, but just do it. Use your jukes. If you've got Shade Step. If you're wearing Twilight Garrison, use it because the effect that can have when you use it at the right time in a 1v1 is magnified versus, juking one person out when you're up against 3 of them. The other part of it is that if I can time my Shade Step in such a way that it prevents me from taking a shot, that is, okay, gives me a little more health to finish them off. But it also means that I've got less recovery to do before I go into the next fight. Easier said than done being a juke master. But if you do have access to an ability like that, abuse the hell out of it. Use it every chance you get. And even if someone gets juked once by you and they lose the fight, it's probably going to work the second time around because a nice Shade Step or a nice Twilight Garrison, that can be hard to certainly throw you off for your next shot. And then maybe the last thing to say about Rumble. This is the hardest one of all, but this one, like, big picture to me in life. This is the thing about Rumble is that it's different, right? Like it's got some unique quality that a lot of people don't like. Like your heart is racing. The pressure is on. You can just play casual control all day and never get above 80 beats a minute. But Rumble freaks you out. It makes your palms sweaty. It makes that kill just seem, it's easy to go on tilt. It's easy to finish a match, win or lose, and just be like, out of breath, heart racing, hands trembling.
I hear you talk about that because it's all true for me in Rumble. I'm just I'm the so most tense I ever play Destiny I'm just like, oh, hey, cool, Rumble's up. I should do the record book circle.
I played Rumble at speed nervous.
4 games later, I'm just like, why am I doing this?
I swear, every time I hear somebody say, I don't like Rumble because it is always that. It is always the stress of it. Let me just say 2 things. The first is that the more you do it, the easier it gets. This is just a requirement of human biology. If you are in a situation that stresses you out and you're up to a 7, you're up to an 8, you cannot stay there forever. And if you keep doing it, you won't go up there next time. It just works. You can power through it and not even worry about losing. Eventually, it might take a while.
Eventually, you get to the point where you're taking advantage of other people's nervousness.
Yes, you can put someone on tilt intentionally, or just know that when it's a race for those last 3 kills, that they're probably breathing hard and you're doing okay.
Shaning kills, winning rumbles.
The other thing to say about that, and this I think is really important, is that feeling is not a bad feeling. It can be tough to deal with, but what it is your body pouring adrenaline into your system. And adrenaline is a gift. Adrenaline makes everything work better. It makes you focus. Time passes slower. You start doing tough things automatically. It is a huge tool that your body gives you in a panic situation to win and survive. And that you kind of got to learn it's a bucking bronco. You got to learn to ride that rumble pony. And I was trying to work up to that. I just came to me.
There it is.
Thank you. But if you do that, if you can tap into this thing that starts off as panic and ends up as pump and focus and concentration, you have mastered something inside your own head that is gonna extend just beyond video games. It's an important thing, and a lot of people never get there. So yeah, go find the scariest thing you can do and do it until you win it 100 times and you get some number goes up by some other number and you can feel good.
I don't like it, but I believe in exposure therapy. And Rumble is the prime spot to experience that for sure. I don't care at all about a trials ticket if I start with a little bit of Rumble.
All right, guys. Go play Rumble. I know you don't like it.
Lasts.
It's going to go away and you're going to miss it. You're going to go back and listen to this episode and say, man, Birds, he had so many good points. Why didn't I go play Rumble? Go play Rumble. I'm telling you to do it and enjoy this thing before it goes away hopefully for just a while.
Baby, come back.
Maybe work on your 1v1s too. Get a little practice in.
Yeah, just be ready to go. That's what the point of these back to basics episodes is to be ready to go. And it's not so much about the game mode, but it's about a game mode that creates a very important situation at an almost constant rate. And if you can get used to that, if you can be in your element in Rumble, find that happy heart rate where you're not too stressed, but you got the adrenaline going, that is great. You're going to go into Countdown or whatever comes with Destiny 2 going like, oh yeah, I'm already in the zone. I'm already checking my flanks because I'm a Rumble pony and I know to look both ways. And that's a great skill to have.
Yeah.
Yo, bros, we killed that. Andrew, take this part out. Yo, dudes, guys. Can we just spend 5 minutes talking about how good that episode was? Because Andrew will just delete all of it.
This Red Bull real quick. I'm so amped.
Let me chug this Bird's Bro Juice, whatever it was called. Oh man, our live episode's gonna be so sick. Oh yeah. I listened to that again and it was something like 50,000 grams of caffeine.
It's excessive. Hey, I like feeling that.
Yeah. Oh man, guys, we're gonna have to do a bit live.
Yeah.
We should probably come up with said bit.
We're gonna really write that one beforehand for sure.
Work in progress. All right, guys. See ya. See you in a couple days.
Later.
See ya, Guardian Con?
Maybe high five you or something. I don't know.
Whatever.
What? Just yeah. I don't know. We'll be there. I don't know. I guess we'll hang out for 2 days and meet all our friends. Okay, whatever. Just chill.
Cool. I guess. Fine.
All right. Leave us an iTunes review. Fine.
Yeah. Fine. Whatever.
As always.
5 stars.
At Crucible Radio.
I know. It's always an option. It's never required. So.
Whatever. I don't care.
Check out the Discord or whatever. You don't have to.
I don't know. Come.
You want to
talk to us on a regular basis in the Discord during the day while I'm bored at work. I'm just saying.
Discord.gg/Crucible Radio, I guess.
Yeah. As always.
Fine.
Love you,
that's the end. All right.
I love you,
next
bro.
Week, Yeah, dude, I'm really appreciative. Okay, I said it.
We hit stop now.
Yeah, dude, hit stop.
I was going. Hit stop or whatever. Bye. See you next week.
Okay, I'm gone. I'm solid. I'm out of here. I'm ace.
Hey everyone, we got some new music this week from Hawk. Go check them out at hawkofficial.com. Well, they're Irish, they're English, they live in Berlin, they play Destiny, they're everywhere. Go check them out, hawkofficial.com. Play some more from them next week. And if you are a musician, I'd like to play you the week after that. Send us an email with some of your songs to crucibleradio@gmail.com.
What's up, everyone? Bones here. Do you like podcasts? Do you like chill conversation? Well, me and my co-hosts Swain and Birds put out a bonus podcast every month on Patreon. If you want to check it out and be a part of more awesome stuff, head over to patreon.com/crucibleradio and join the squad. See you there.